In unbelievable and shocking news, Biden is a liar. Stay tuned. It's Reality Unplugged. Despite terrible chaos going on in our nation this week, including the 7-shot in Philadelphia and the 8-shot in Virginia Beach, the headlines seem to be focused around one thing: President Biden's response to Brian Kemp's Georgia voting regulation changes and the law that he signed into place. Now, what we do know: Governor Brian Kemp signed into law a bill that was put onto his desk reforming voter regulations in Georgia, including many things that would open up access and extend early voting times for people in his district so that there was more easy to get to and there were more places that it was able to be done. This has been called Jim Crow of the 21st century by Mr. Biden. This was accentuated and punctuated by the fact that one of the Georgia legislatures, a Democrat that disagreed with the way that they were getting ready to reform voting rights, began pounding on deliberation doors as remarks were being made about the bill after the General Assembly was over and after it had been signed. She began causing a ruckus. She began threatening people around her and becoming violent. She was dragged away by police officers who she assaulted, and yet she claimed to be fighting for voting rights. Now, when President Biden heard about this law being signed in, he was seen on TV calling it an atrocity. The only thing you need to know that this was not done in decency and that it was sheer voter suppression is that the law says you're not allowed to give people in line water. I cannot tell you that I read the entire bill. I'm not a lawyer. I did read about quite a bit of it, and while I found nothing restricting you from being able to give people in line water, there was a line that says that no one was allowed to be campaigning to people waiting in line. And there was something else very interesting. There was a rule in there that said they were going to make a list. And that list was going to include every eligible voter. That list was going to be updated every week. And there was going to be one person whose job was to check that list every week against another list of people who have died or moved away. This is the real reason they're attacking this law. Everything else is a show. You need to understand. Even the woman pounding on the door, that was all a gimmick to draw attention away, to lie about this bill, and to make things seem like they weren't what they were, because they do not want this list. Because then they cannot submit dead people ballots. They cannot submit people who have moved away. And now that they have the absentee ballots that you have to provide a voter ID or a form of ID for yourself to prove that you are who you are, they cannot submit the same person several times. This is why they hate this bill. And if you didn't catch it, this is why President Biden, I don't know if he lied or if he's just not smart enough. He didn't read the bill himself. Somebody told him what it said and he's just repeating it. The same thing with the whole Jim Crow thing. I doubt President Biden even knows what Jim Crow is. But all they care about is that one line in that bill where there's a list to protect it from fraud. Now down to brass tacks. Obviously we know Biden has called the Georgia law Jim Crow of the 21st century, which is highly ironic. But I guess if anyone would know about Jim Crow, it's Joe Biden holding the hands of the KKK exalted Cyclops, Robert Byrd. In the terms of my liberal friends on the other side, stay woke, everybody. Don't believe the narrative just because they're pushing it. They have this idea that if they scream something loud enough, long enough, at the right news medias, then everyone will just believe it's true. Do your homework. Figure out what's going on. They're hiding reality from you. So So stay tuned to Reality Unplugged. Hit that bell icon so you get notifications for all our new content. Give us a subscription and leave us a comment down below. We look forward to speaking with you. This is Reality Unplugged, praying for America.